So coming in from the last part here, naturally we're going to want to do this shrine because like I said before, I am going to need a few spirit orbs to get a few containers. I'm going to need 16 for 4 containers. I've already retrieved 1, so I'm going to need about 12 more. So again, with the replayability in some of these shrines, some of these can be really fun, and some of these can be so convoluted they're beyond frustrating. What you're supposed to do for this particular shrine is discern the code from these specific symbols, these weird like star sign symbols, from that large board up there, and then you can find the code. So what normally happens in games like these for me is they become so annoying that I just end up writing them down, or other ways to just memorize the code. The code for this shrine is always going to be 5312. Much like Dueling Peaks, or the 2 Dueling Peak shrines, which we are not going to do. But the game typically nudges you in that direction, so it's very possible that you've come across them. The idea, the gimmick with those is that you have the code for the other shrine, and you need to go back and forth between the 2 of them. This one is just highly convoluted passcode that it's been so bad I just taken to writing it down. And with that, we're on our way to getting the last 12 that we're going to need. Now that we've set up a proper fast travel point in Korok Forest, oh yes, once you come out of a shrine, I noticed that we have the Master Sword, right? So naturally we're up for doing the DLC content, the trials that it gave us. And I'm going to have a bit to say on that later, especially, again, when we're done with the initial core playthrough. And when I say core playthrough, I mean, well, pretty much this. Funny enough, when I initially started playing this game, I began to realize that, along with discovering how cooking worked, you kind of need to prepare to play Breath of the Wild before you play Breath of the Wild. And hear me out, the whole idea with, Link himself doesn't really get stronger. He doesn't. In order to do that, you really need to make use of the food items, make special meals, buff his stats, which in itself is highly limited. You can only have 1 active buff at a time from food. Any other buffs you would need to get from your armor. And yeah, they got plenty of work I would say they would have to do in the sequel. But of course, along with that, we're going to go ahead and continue with doing just that. Since we did the early Master Sword glitch, we need to, or rather we're really going to want to continue along doing that path, but with effects that will be permanent now, since we're not going to go back to any other save state. So I went back to the Kaowan Shrine, the same place we used as a midpoint to go to Korok Forest, Kakariko, and then Hateno. So yeah, I'm pretty much going to be doing the same pathway again. But rather than just cut out, which I would normally do, I do, of course, want to test... this is more of a meta thing. I need to test software to see if I can actually get that speed up to work, because, of course, it would be very beneficial for the whole playthrough. Before that, I'm going to get some arrows, because they're going to be very much needed for utility purposes. And once again, I can still make use of our horse. But, yeah, after we repeat this path... if we get to Hateno proper, I'm not going to be needing him anymore. And for the reasons I stated in the last video, the horses are just not helpful. So hopefully this will be a speed up section where I will meet you guys in Kakariko Village. So, hoping that worked, editing has to be done in post. We finally make our way to Kakariko Village proper, and... of course will listen to me. I'm actually going to use the arrows here to get a Korok. It is advantageous, I will say, to watch a speed through of a game that you've done already, because you'd be surprised the secrets that you'll find out. Little did you know that the arrows in that signpost were actually supposed to be a hint to you that Korok Seed was there. Funny enough, something I think we thought was intrinsic was that all of the Korok hiding places were going to be identical in wherever you found them. It's actually not the case, again, the things that you learn. Some of them are very unique. Before, for example, I didn't get this Korok Seed, but I actually forgot to pick up an apple normally, so we'll just get that a little bit later. It's not going to be hard. So all of this is going to be exactly the same, except this time we're going to make it count for our progress. So now that we're done talking to Impa, we can go ahead and, this is very important. Normally on the early Master Sword route we would stop here and then just, you know, get on our horse again and go to Hatsuno Village. Not so this time. I'm actually going to want to get the shrine here in Kakariko Village. Definitely one of the more important shrines. I don't know if any of you had heard or seen the video, but early when the game came out, I actually found out that, of course, the game was being streamed live on Twitch. I found it really hilarious that somebody who had, you know, similar difficulties through the early parts of this game, specifically the combat, had found this particular shrine 80 hours in. So yeah, most of you should probably know this since if you've done this before, at least once through. This is the combat tutorial shrine. Yes, this one gives you the layout. Now, you're not blocked from using any of the combat dodges and flurry rushes, but this definitely maps it out very well. And as you'll no doubt remember from the last part, we didn't get a shield proper. But rather than having to go back and fix that again, you can go get the Shield of the Mind's Eye here. I'm also going to get the weapon over here. It's a decent enough Eightfold Blade. It's a decent enough single-handed weapon. But I do have the Master Sword, and what's great about the Master Sword is that you can use it quite freely because it'll just recharge itself within 10 minutes. Crucial skills indeed. Yeah, sorry about cutting all that out, but again, I'm going to make more of an effort to cut out the more superfluous stuff. So yeah, I'm more so sorry about just cutting out of the blue. I'm going to be doing that more often to save, again, on runtime. I'm not entirely certain what's in this chest. Probably another shield. No, it's an apple. Well, that's fine. And then, of course, naturally, we get this towards our 12 spirit orbs that we need to get the rest of our containers. So now that we're out of the shrine, I'm actually going to go ahead and get the first fairy fountain. That which, of course, you need the fairies to upgrade your stuff, and I'm not going to completely ignore them. I am going to upgrade my armor bit by bit here. It's not exactly crucial, but, you know, it certainly helps. And, of course, while I'm here, I'm going to take the time to get the fairies, which, staple of any Zelda game, are going to be just incredibly useful. One decided to fly off, so it looks like I'm going to end up with 3. Of course, they're for, you know, backup strats. They're not crucial to the gameplay. They're just smart to get them. The game won't spawn. You're just going to be difficult, aren't you? The game seems to only spawn about 4. You can find them in all the fairy fountains. Within, like, assuming relative to how much you have in your inventory. Even if I stand up, you're not even going to let me... Yeah, great. I'll have to come back to that one later. Hello? I'm glad you came up here, boy, but I really don't need your help right now. I wonder if he heard my whistle sprinting from all the way down there. Wow, that's very interesting. Why won't these fairies cooperate? Come on, there we go. I'm tempted to just... No, it's lowering. I was gonna just go ahead and take 2, but no, this one decided to fly down. Yeah, real interesting way they decided to depict the fairies here. I'm talking about initially, like, right here. You got this, like, disturbed voice, and, like, what looks like a cactus of some kind. Yeah, it's rather jarring. Of course, I don't need to upgrade anything just yet. It's just more efficient to just unlock it right now. I am going to need some things that grow around the fairy shrines. It's funny how the game sort of treats them as if they're a rare item to come across. Oh yeah, it is night now, so they are going to be glowing. The Silent Princess. You probably give some of you an idea of what I'm going to be getting and improving on. I'm also going to want these Endura carrots. They're just really helpful, and we'll talk about these kinds of items when the time is relevant. But from here, I'm going to go ahead and teleport back to the Kakariko Shrine. And I wonder if this was supposed to be just intrinsic into your exploring process. You can really use these high points, these teleport points, as the epicenter for your exploration around the surrounding area. And so naturally, once we get to Hateno, I'm going to want to come back to Kakariko Village right now to get other things going. But once we've done this, I should have an apple now. We'll be able to get the Korok seed down there, and then we are going to make our way to Hateno Village to do that part of the quest. And what's more than likely going to happen is, aside from testing that one area for my own purposes, of course you didn't fall in, for testing it for my own purposes of editing, I'm just probably going to just cut straight to Hateno Village. This is the most fussy I've ever seen this. There. Actually, that was a bit of a lie. What we are going to do is, on our way to Hateno Village, we are going to be doing the things that would, you know, matter again. Getting Korok seeds, getting shrines, getting materials, and unlocking a very important character. But, much like on the way out of Kakariko, or rather into Kakariko, the one out of Kakariko is very important as well. If I can hit it. There we go. Yes, there is a Korok seed waiting in and out of those openings for Kakariko Village. As we make our down this way, this is the way I usually go, again, before I adopted this pathway for doing my playthrough of Breath of the Wild. There's, we passed somebody very important, the slot vendor, Hetsu. I understand it's not how his name is pronounced, but I just prefer it that way, it rolls off the tongue better, so from now on I'm going to be calling him Hetsu. Sorry if it bothers you. So just a little further up along the way here, you can see him down there as we turn the corner. But what we need is over here in this camp with Bokoblins. Now, funny enough, this is at night, so I'm probably going to get some stealth skeletons. But what I like to do here is, I know we couldn't weaponize the bombs traditionally, but what we can weaponize is their concussive blast. So what I like to do is, why are only two of you here? Come on. Come on. Go figure this would happen on camera. I like to gather them all around here, and I'm going to use physics against them by knocking them off the ledge. Of course, there's one stubborn one. It's just a more efficient way to get rid of them without having to worry about, you know, using up any weapons or items. So we'll just finish this one up, and then we'll get the key item we need for Hetsu. So we'll go ahead and talk to him here. You need to talk to him here, otherwise he's not going to show up in Korok Forest even though you make your way over there. They do want you to find him on his own over here. Which again is them leading you along the way, a sort of guided path to get some of the more essential parts of the game, which is no doubt why they nudge you in the direction of the Zoro's domain. And of course we have plenty of Korok seeds to start expanding our inventory. He's only going to do it twice, but that's enough. He has a very fun witty dance. So he's going to do it again. And all I'm going to say is, I am not going to skip this. It's just too fun. And then, of course, after this, he's going to say that, yes, he needs to make his way back, or otherwise Grandpa, which is in red, is going to worry about him. If you know any relation between the Koroks and, of course, the Deku tree, you'll realize who Grandpa is. So, making our way over here to the Dual Peak stable. Of course, we passed this up on our way to Hateno the first time. What we're actually going to do is take the time to stop and get the shrine here along with some other equipment. It's a simple enough shrine. You just need 3 uses of Cryonis. You'd stop the ball here, so it goes down. And you stop the... Or you could just go over it. You stop the device there, and you go ahead and give it a place to land so it can reach their safely. And there's the shrine. With the spikes gone, I'm going to go ahead and, like I said before, I'm going to get some key materials, and I'm going to get these Swift Violets because they're going to be very helpful for... excuse me. You need to aim for the vegetation, not the flowers themselves. Oh, come on. I missed. There we go. Obviously can't use the other arrows because that'll mess up the vegetation, so please excuse me while I go get some more arrows from Beetle. So yeah, what's good news is that Beetle will always be at the stables where you're at, somewhere around there, depending on what time of day it is. If it's night, he might be inside. If it's day, he'll probably be wandering, or sometimes he will be inside again. You just check which of those out. So I'm going to get some of the Swift Violets here, and then we're going to make our way towards Hateno again. But I'm going to stop in front of Hateno Fort, and the reason is I am still looking for a 3rd Ancient Shaft. And so what I'm probably going to do is from here, I'm just going to go ahead and speed up the section, and then just speed up me looking through all of the Ancient Guardians, and then hopefully we'll get an Ancient Shaft. So I'll see you guys then.
Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Going new, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa. try to cancel all the pictures into the mind. There's a flashing in my eyes. Don't you see my condition? The fiction is gone right again. Can't you see now? Illusions right into your mind. Deja vu, I just been in this place before. Higher on the street, and I know it's my time to go. Calling you, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Whoa, deja vu, I just been in this time before. Higher on the beat, and I know it's a place to go. Calling you, and the search is a mystery. Standing on my feet, it's so hard when I try to be me. Yeah.
Okay, so now that all of that is complete, we can continue talking to Pura here, and then we can just go ahead and move on to, again, a more permanent, alright, need to take the picture over, to upgrading our runes. Thankfully, I did manage to finally get the Ancient Shaft out of that one, to the far left at Hatsuno Fort. The reason I wanted to stay away from there is because, well, one of the Guardians is still active, and even though it's the more disabled 500 health one, I just didn't want to have to deal with that nonsense, so I tried to find them, you know, away from there if I can help it. So she's going to tell us that we can upgrade our stuff. The screws are very easy, you know, they're the most common, so we'll be able to upgrade our sensor, relatively simple. What I need the Ancient Shafts for is that when you upgrade your bombs, they do more damage, but that's not what's most important, is that they take half the time to recharge. So I absolutely want that. It's going to be incredibly helpful, and again, it's just a big time save. Okay, so now that our bombs are upgraded, they're highly useful. The stasis rune requires 3 ancient cores. We're not going to do that just yet. We are going to do it, but not just yet. The path I have laid out will get us what we need in the timing that we need it. So now that we finally made our way down to pretty much updated progression from what we were doing with the early Master Sword, I'm going to go ahead, and this is why I wanted to make sure to get the Shrine at Kakariko first. We can go ahead and teleport back there, and I'm going to do a few things. So first and foremost is, we don't have that much health, and defense does matter, especially early on. But there is one particular item of armor or clothing that I'm going to want to acquire now that I have the camera, and now that we've done the Hatano quest, and we go back to talk to Impa. And then she's going to tell us about the memories that Link can regain, which is what I was alluding to earlier within the story. But while I'm on my way there, I have enough spirit orbs to increase our stamina, which will be very helpful in all the running that we've been doing. So I'll go ahead and get another stamina vessel. So what's going to end up happening is that since we need 4 containers, I'm actually going to get 3 stamina vessels, and I'm going to get a heart container. Not from turning in any spirit orbs. I'm going to be getting it when we do the first Divine Beast, Varuta, in Zoro's domain, which we will be heading to presently. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut this out. It's very simple. I'm just going to go talk to Impa. So yes, now you get access to the memory quest. I'm not going to get all of these memories simply because, well, it's just not practical anymore. Once you've seen it once, you know what the story generally is. And I will talk about that later, but right now I just want to keep moving along with making progress on our gameplay path. So, in order to get this item of clothing, the champion shirt, you need at least one of the memories. And the closest one is in the Lunaru domain. So, what I'm going to do here is, yet again, I'm probably going to speed up, and then you can just see the pathway I'm taking. I'm going to be taking an above pass, and this is path, and this is what I was talking about earlier with using the shrines as a central location for your exploration. And I'm going to make my way over to the Lunaru ruins, where the Shrine of Courage is just below. I'm going to go along this pathway simply because, well, it's the path less troublesome, because all I'll be doing is just whistle sprinting past a bunch of enemies, and the whole point of me getting this item is to have higher defense, which I just don't want to risk right now. So I'll see you guys then. And a few more Korok seeds in hand. I just go ahead and talk to Impa, and she's going to give me the champion tunic. I just feel it flows a lot better with Link's design. That's how I prefer to arm Link here in my playthroughs. And I believe it's if it isn't the strongest or the highest defense of Link's armor, it's definitely up there, so that much is certain. But now that we've gone ahead and we've gotten everything caught up with pretty much the early Master Sword glitch and gotten everything that we can along the way proper, I'm going to go ahead and call it here. So thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. And now that we've finally picked up our pace back with everything with the Master Sword in hand, we're going to go ahead and continue with the playthrough, and I hope you'll drop by again. All right.